PGA, you can't handle the roof.
Jim Hudson Cadillac. Experience it once, and you'll never forget it.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
South Carolina Waffle House workers walk out of work this weekend for their safety. We'll hear why later on. But first, we're learning more about what led up to an officer-involved shooting between a homeless man and a Richmond County deputy this weekend in downtown Augusta. News 12 Sydney Hood joins us from the newsroom with the latest. Sydney, the GBI is taking over the investigation, and what are they sharing today?
Craig, this all started when Richmond County deputies responded to a call at the corner of Ellis and 12th Street in reference to someone with a gun. The GBI says the man was pointing the gun at people in the area, and it's an area with restaurants and stores all open for Saturday morning business. Deputies found the man in a closed area in between Broad and Ellis, just feet away from all that Saturday morning hustle. And while they were trying to get the man to surrender the gun, shots rang out, and the man died on scene. And the officer who was shot, we are learning, is Deputy Kenneth Mercer. His condition is still unknown, but that hasn't stopped folks from sending in their own thoughts and prayers. We talked to the J.D. Paul Memorial Foundation this morning, and they sent News 12 a statement saying he is an amazing guy and an even more amazing deputy. He loves his family, his law enforcement family, more than anything. He is an animal lover, and no one comes in between him and his dogs. And on his off time, you'll find him in the yard grilling out, playing with the dogs, or riding his Harley. Kenny will do anything for anyone, family, friends, strangers, or his law enforcement brothers and sisters. And law enforcement agencies near and far have also shared their own prayers to Deputy Mercer. And as for that homeless man's name, the GBI says the coroner won't release it yet because they are still trying to find his family. And we are still learning more details by the hour on exactly what happened. We will continue to update you both on air and online.
Alrighty, thank you for following this since everything broke out yesterday, Sydney. It's just been more information that we're getting by the hour. Thanks for that. Now tossing things over to First Alert meteorologist Emily Acton. Emily, I hear there could be some rain coming in early tonight.
Yeah, Craig, we definitely need to take advantage of what we're seeing right now. Conditions are pretty good, if I do say so myself. Things are looking partly cloudy out there right now. Current temperature 91 in Augusta. Heat index 94. So really not feeling too bad for our afternoon here. But again, things are dry for now. Going to see some rainfall though as we get into later on into the overnight hours, and having some issues here with my clicker, but want to tell you guys, show you guys at least some of that rainfall there, but you'll just have to believe me for the moment. There we go. Some rainfall right now across the southeast, but not for us here in the river region. But like I said, that's going to change overnight tonight, where we can see some showers and thunderstorms develop as early as around 1 a.m. And that's going to last throughout the greater part of the day tomorrow, Craig. So definitely going to have your rain gear ready.
Keeping the umbrella nearby. Thanks for that, Emily. The Orangeburg County Sheriff's Office says no one was injured in an officer-involved shooting over the weekend. Sheriff Ravenel says a confrontation happened yesterday morning at a home off Norway Road. The Sheriff's Office immediately asked SLED agents to investigate. No word yet on what led up to this shooting, but we are going to reach out to SLED for more details. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office is searching for a missing man with autism. 23-year-old Curtis Tucci was last seen yesterday morning around 6 a.m. Investigators say he wore a blue shirt, navy blue shoes with turquoise stripes down the side, and black slides. They believe he may be heading to Alabama. If you see him, call the Sheriff's Office. And Waffle House workers from Columbia, South Carolina decided to take a stand. They held a protest over the weekend for safer working conditions after shooting at one of their restaurants. Before this strike, the employees sent a petition to the company and say they haven't heard back yet. That's why one employee walked out during rush hour because she wants to stand up for all shifts, not just the late night ones.
Those customers could have had guns on them. They could have just decided to start shooting. Like, they just, I don't know, were just pouring stuff in their containers and just threw it behind the counter. Like, they could have did way worse than that. And the police got called, and the police never showed up. So this is why we are demanding better security for all shifts, not just third shifts on Saturdays and Sundays.
And the Waffle House strike is the latest in a series of actions by Columbia workers demanding safe working conditions. Now, officials with the Savannah Riverkeeper want you to know it's safe to cool off. They made this post on Facebook earlier over the weekend saying they found some high E. coli test samples during the week, and they're from Lake Olmsted, the boat ramp at Lock and Dam South, and the sandbar at Riverview Park. Officials say you could get wet, but you gotta wash yourself off as soon as possible, and definitely don't drink the water. A man from Sandy Springs gets to go home after surviving a deadly accident. Anthony Sotelo and his family were driving home last weekend when a tree fell on their car and went straight through this windshield, impaling him in the stomach. His wife immediately called 911 to get help. She and their son only got scratched. He went under emergency surgery this week and got released on Friday with stitches. Still, he can't believe his health may have saved his life.
Surgeon told me afterwards that I was lucky that I was overweight because the fat in my belly actually saved most of my organs from being pierced and like ruptured, because they said about that much extra fat on top of my organs.
And our sister station from Atlanta found there's an issue with broken trees and branches on the street the accident happened on. Sotelo says he is now out of work for at least 6 weeks, but he's ready to get back to living life. Officers from Ohio are looking for a man connected to an early morning mass shooting. So far, no one's dead. Officers say 9 people from Cleveland are injured, though, and one of them is in critical condition. They say the suspect shot into a crowd at different nightclubs around 2:30 a.m. Right now, authorities are following some leads before they share more, and they believe there wasn't any fight or altercation before the suspect started shooting. Over to Chicago, where one person is dead and 15 others are in the hospital from a terrible crash. Officers say a car with 3 passengers drove on the wrong side of the road this morning just before 6 a.m. and hit a bus. So far, authorities know most of the bus passengers were taken to a nearby hospital with unknown injuries, but are expected to be okay. They say one of the car passengers died in a hospital, and the other 2 are in critical condition. No word yet on why they drove down the wrong side of the road. Officials with North Carolina's Department of Labor believe a crack on Carowinds ride formed before the park shut it down for repairs. It's this one here when a park goer caught a beam on the Fury 325 roller coaster this month while people were still on the ride. The labor commissioner says it was completely severed in their investigation. And so far, they haven't released what caused it to break yet. Park officials say the ride will stay closed while they remove the column and replace it. The new part is expected to come in next week. Well, coming up, a Florida sanctuary is letting the cameras in to check up on a chimpanzee who never saw the sun until they rescued her. We'll see how they make sure she's happy and healthy after the break. Emily?
Well, we can expect widespread heavy rainfall over the next 12 to 24 hours, but drier air is in the forecast. Stay tuned after the break for your full 7-day.
Premium, make it for a limited time.
Oklahoma City is flooded today after reports of heavy rain and winds overnight. Officials are seeing some of the major roads are completely soaked as some cars brace themselves to get where they need to be, as you can see here. Some power lines are even laying on their sides without getting too submerged. This is a video from a homeowner shared from their porch. As you can see, the rain and wind beating down on the ground. Some cars even had to be pushed through all of the high water or left behind like this on the side. No word yet from officials about how high the levels got. Now, that's just some pretty intense stuff there. I don't think we're expecting any of that into the early part of our Monday in the AMs. But Emily, what's it looking like for our forecast?
We're definitely going to see widespread rainfall, Craig, but not expecting that extreme flooding like what they are seeing over there in Oklahoma, thankfully. But like I said, going to see some widespread rainfall really throughout the greater part of our Monday. So Monday blues are really going to be here tomorrow. Make sure that you have your rain jacket. And I always like to have something sweet whenever it is raining all day today. Just get you through the day. But good news is things are looking better midweek, and I am thinking that I might have misspelled something. Anyways, we're seeing some showers and thunderstorms across the southeast right now, and some heavier showers and thunderstorms in the state of Alabama. Tennessee also seeing some rain, but we're dry here in the river region, so that's some good news, and definitely need to take advantage of that. If you have any outdoor activities that you need to get done, maybe cut the grass or something, definitely need to do that tonight, because again, I'm going to see lots of rainfall tomorrow. But if you are getting out and about, make make sure that you are staying hydrated, still warm. It's 6:30, a little after 6:30, and we're still a little after 6 p.m. And we're still in those 90s. But here's a look hour by hour what we can expect over the next 24 to 48 hours. Again, widespread rainfall throughout the day. The models have pushed it back a little bit, making it last throughout the greater part of our Monday. So again, definitely going to have those Monday blues for us. But the good news is by the time the evening rolls around, things are looking a little bit better. So maybe on your commute home from work, things should not be too bad. But I want to show you a different model. This is the Euro model, the European model that we get data from, and this one is not showing as much widespread rainfall. So again, take it with a grain of salt. I am expecting rainfall off and on throughout the day, but again, this model is showing a little bit heavier in the afternoon, but a little bit lighter throughout the morning. Nonetheless, they both agree that things are going to be out of here by the evening, and for our Tuesday, things are looking a lot better for us. So definitely some good news there. Severe outlook, some of our counties are under that marginal risk, and that's really due to flooding concerns. Other than that, we're really not having any issues with this rainfall that is coming. So again, flash flood risk for all of our counties tomorrow. And again, we're going to see some steady rainfall, but could see a break every now and then. So that's some good news. Anywhere from half an inch to an inch of rainfall expected for our Monday, but check out after that. Things are looking a lot drier for our Tuesday and Wednesday, even Thursday looking a lot drier for us. So next 7 days, really not looking too bad. Once we get through Monday, then things are looking a lot drier for us. And once we get to the end of our week, that's when we can start seeing those rain chances start to bump back up, Craig. High temperatures will reach those upper 90s again, so definitely have to trade one for the other. Tomorrow, 84 for the high. I don't think I mentioned that yet. We're going to see plenty of rainfall, so you really won't be able to tell that it's cooler out there, because definitely going to need to have your rain gear handy. But we're going to trade the rain for the heat by the end of the week.
Alrighty, keeping the lighter rain gear nearby. Thanks for that, Emily. Now to an exclusive look at how a viral chimpanzee named Vanilla is doing after being rescued by a lighter rain gear nearby. Thanks for that, Emily. Now to an exclusive look at how a viral chimpanzee named Vanilla is doing after being rescued by a Florida sanctuary. Lorena Inclan checks in with her.
Vanilla! Vanilla Wi-Fi! Let it go!
The chimp Vanilla now runs things. That's how her caretakers at the Save the Chimps in Fort Pierce describe her. But this wasn't always her life.
Vanilla was born at a biomedical lab in New York and subject of medical studies, living in isolation, tremendous hardship. She moved at around age 2 to that wildlife refuge outside of LA with all good intentions, but not enough resources or the capacity to appropriately care for her.
Vanilla arrived at the sanctuary a year ago, and after months of rehabilitation, the day finally came a few weeks ago to integrate her with the new family. It was then that she saw the sky for the first time in 28 years. The video showing her amazement quickly went viral. Care technician Maddie Nicholas captured the special moment. The story's been shared all over the world, helping to raise awareness about the endangered species.
I think it sends a great message that we're giving these chimps an opportunity to live their best life here.
Save the Chimps is one of the world's largest chimpanzee sanctuaries. CEO Ana Paula Tavares took us on a tour of the massive refuge.
These chimpanzees were robbed the opportunity to live freely as chimpanzees, so this is a wonderful opportunity.
Vanilla is one of 227 chimpanzees who call this sanctuary home. They've been rescued from research labs, the entertainment industry, and the pet trade.
We have chimps here that worked in circuses, and it's really sad because in order to try to tame them, they would remove their teeth, remove their testicles.
Caring for them is a major undertaking. Tavares tells me it costs $10 million a year to run the sanctuary.
She says it's such a challenge because they need to have 2.5 tons of food every day and more. However, thanks to donations, the volunteers, and 80 employees at the sanctuary can make sure those chimps get to enjoy their remaining years. Well, still ahead, urgent care doctors across the country are keeping an eye out for ticks because their bite can have long-lasting effects on your health. More on that coming up.
Your safety comes first with the First Alert Radar Network. First just got faster.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Lexus Acura Infinity.
Well, hotter temperatures and the summer can bring out tick season, and as Deanna Durant says, it could leave travelers with tick-borne illness. The CDC sends out a warning about how it could also bring a food allergy.
They're absolutely disgusting.
And that's coming from a doctor. But if you find one on you, your children, and think it bit you, save it.
If you can avoid it, don't just throw it away. Save it in a little plastic baggie. I know they're gross and disgusting.
Dr. Dana Mincer of American Family Urgent Care Clinic in Lower Bucks County says holding on to that tick can help doctors figure out what diseases you've now been exposed to.
The patient came in with a Lyme tick yesterday. The tick was engorged, and the patient was having joint ache.
Thursday, Dr. Stephen Applebaum says a patient came into the Roxborough Memorial Urgent Care in Andorra, not just with a tick that tested positive for Lyme, but so did the patient. Lyme disease is nothing new, and doctors locally say it's not going away. With the summer months in full swing, those bloodthirsty parasites are spreading more than Lyme.
Fever, body aches, just not feeling well. You might get sort of a headache, nausea.
Doctors say many of the symptoms of tick-borne illnesses can be the same. That's why getting your blood and that tick tested are so important, especially as newer viruses are making the rounds in the United States. The CDC this week is alerting people to a food allergy spread by the Lone Star tick. The CDC says it can spark alpha-gal syndrome, making you allergic to red meat, among other symptoms. And while the CDC says the illness commonly comes from one tick, it says others can't be ruled out.
And it's not just the Lyme disease tick. There's the Lone Star ticks. There's other ticks that are indigenous to, say, the southwest part of the country, and they make their way back here as well.
Alpha-gal hasn't been spotted in the tri-state area, but Dr. Applebaum says with the ability to travel not just in the U.S., but from country to country, new viruses are being brought here. And despite mosquitoes carrying malaria, ticks can too. All the more reason to take precautions with CDC-approved repellents, clothing that covers up your arms and legs after being outside, also checking yourself and others in your family. Illness can be treated, says Dr. Mincer.
I had Lyme as a child, and I don't know, I'm fine now.
Our Meredith Anderson also met a Grovetown man last year who was diagnosed with the disease, and how the Lone Star tick is common in Georgia and South Carolina. You can reread the story on our website at wrdw.com. U.S. Senator Majority Leader is sending out a warning to parents about a popular energy drink for kids. Senator Chuck Schumer also called on the FDA to investigate Prime for their marketing techniques. He claims the drink is a cauldron of caffeine, more than a cup of coffee, and it may be attractive to kids who see the ads. He says there's a lack of warnings on social media.
Prime is born from the reels of social media and the enigmatic world of influencers. Kids see it on their phones as they scroll, and then they actually have a need for it. And the problem here is that the product has so much caffeine in it that it puts Red Bull to shame.
Medical experts say energy drinks can bring potential health risks because of the stimulants, especially for young kids. Senator Schumer is sending a letter to the FDA to investigate if the level of caffeine is or is not safe for them as well. The U.S. Coast Guard says a damaged cruise ship that collided with a dock in San Francisco is now free to set sail today. They lifted the order for the Ruby Princess earlier this morning. On Thursday, the vessel was scheduled to begin a 10-day voyage to Alaska, but that was delayed by a collision. Now guests will board for a week-long cruise instead of 10 days. No word yet on when she'll set sail. Well, the final day at the Palmetto Amateur was closer than anyone was expecting. Coming up in sports, Alliance takes you inside the tournament.
If you think on your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
The 48th annual Palmetto Amateur has come to a close at the Reserve Club. It all came down to the final round. Fort Golden State out of Alabama led the field by one stroke heading into the final day of play. He birdied twice on the front nine and replaced it with 2 bogeys on the back, but insurance kept him ahead. With 1 shot to go, he just misses the birdie on 18 and settles for par. It's good enough for the Palmetto Cup. Boldicic finishes at 16 under, 4 strokes ahead of the field.
16 was, if I would have made the putt, I would have felt a lot better. But I was telling Jack, my caddy, my brother, on the walk up to 18 green, it's like, dude, I'd rather be tied or one shot ahead. Having a lead is very nerve-wracking, more than being head-to-head with somebody.
Aiken's Brian Quackenbush finished in 7th, posting a 3-under day. He ended the tournament at 8 under. Coming up all new on News 12 at 11, we'll take you to his impossible shot that he says looked anything but. In Aiken, Alyssa Lyons on your side.
Thanks for that, Alyssa. Well, the Powerball jackpot is still looking for a winner. No one took home Saturday's drawing of $615 million. The pot now jumps to about $650 million and would be the 9th largest Powerball prize ever. The next drawing is expected to be tomorrow. I'm just hoping for the lottery to hit in for some master tickets. Those are supposed to be coming out in the next few months here, but,
that would be
cross your fingers on that
really good thing to spend it on. Interesting. But switching things over to weather, things are going to be calm for the next several hours. So again, get anything done outdoors that you need to. That's super urgent. Nonetheless, we're going to see drier air for the end of our week. But this is what the radar is looking like throughout the day. Tomorrow, again, widespread heavy rainfall. I know that the models are showing it's going to rain pretty much throughout the greater part of the day, but I think we might have a couple of breaks here and there. So maybe if you have a couple of errands to run, might be able to squeeze those in, but nonetheless, we could see anywhere from ½ inch to 1 inch of rainfall for our Monday, Craig. So definitely need to have the rain gear ready.
Alrighty, thanks for that, Emily, and thank you for joining us here on News 12 at 6 o'clock. We got more news, weather, and sports coming up at 11. Join us one more time.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12, NBC 26 at 11.
A regular car ride in Georgia almost becomes deadly in seconds. We'll take a look at how one man survives being hit by this falling tree in a few minutes. But first, we continue to follow a Richmond County deputy's condition after an officer-involved shooting this weekend. First responders took Deputy Kenneth Mercer to a nearby hospital yesterday after he got shot at least once. Deputies responded to reports of a man with a gun at Ellis and 12th Street. The coroner says that man was homeless and died at the scene. Our Sydney Hood joins us tonight after continuing to follow this story. Sydney, the GBI is leading the investigation. What else did we learn today?
Craig, this is now the 50th officer-involved shooting the GBI has been requested to investigate this year. And while they are doing their own independent investigation, folks near and far are showing their support for Deputy Mercer. Things are a lot quieter and a lot more calm at the corner of 12th and Ellis. Just 24 hours ago, yellow crime scene tape and blue lights painted a different picture. You can see how close this area is to downtown restaurants and stores, all open for Saturday morning business when shots rang out in broad daylight. It happened about the time families were likely sitting down for lunch. News 12 spoke with one Ellis Street business owner who said this happened right outside their window. The call to deputies comes in about a man pointing a gun to people in the area. The man was found in a closed area just feet away from the hustle and bustle of downtown. While trying to get the man to surrender the gun, shots rang out. The man and a deputy were hit. The man died on the scene, and that deputy is Kenneth Mercer. He is now in the hospital in the fight for his life. And it didn't take long for social media to pick up on what happened. Governor Brian Kemp tweeting his prayers and asking all Georgians to pray for Deputy Mercer. The J.D. Paul Memorial Foundation sent this statement to News 12 giving us more details on Deputy Mercer, or Kenny as he is referred to, saying he is an amazing guy and an even more amazing deputy. He loves his family, his law enforcement family more than anything. He is an animal lover. No one comes between him and his dogs. On his off time, you'll find him in the yard grilling out and playing with the dogs or riding his Harley. Kenny will do anything for anyone, family, friends, strangers, or his law enforcement brothers and sisters. And the support from other law enforcement agencies near and far is strong, all offering their support for one of their own. And we are in contact with a friend of Deputy Mercer to give us updates on his condition. He has a long road to recovery, but we will continue to update you both on air and online as we continue following this.
Thank you for following this since yesterday when news broke out in downtown Sydney Hood. Thank you for that coverage. Now tossing things over to the weather side. First alert meteorologist Emily Acton. Emily, how early is this potential rain coming in?
Well, Craig, we're already seeing it on the radar. Maybe not necessarily here in the river region, but just off to our west, seeing some showers. But like I said, things are calm for us right now. 76 is the current temperature in Augusta. Again, those winds are calm, but check out the radars. Across the southeast, plenty of rainfall, and that's inching closer to us. We can expect some more widespread rainfall to come over the next couple of hours or so, but again, Atlanta seeing lots of heavy rainfall at this hour, but we'll get our fair share of that overnight tonight. Again, expecting some heavy rainfall. So as you head out the door Monday, definitely need to have a rain jacket, umbrella, rain boots, your whole setup that you have for the rain, because it's going to be raining throughout the greater part of the day tomorrow. Again, going to see some pockets of heavier showers at times, Craig, but I have some good news for you. Things are looking better for the middle and end of our work week.
Look forward to that full forecast. Orangeburg County deputies say SLED agents are taking over an investigation into a recent officer-involved shooting. Sheriff says it happened yesterday at a home off Norway Road around 10:30 a.m. He says thankfully no one was hurt during the confrontation, but no word yet on who they met and what led up to the shooting. Sheriff's office immediately asked SLED to investigate separately. We reached out to the state agency to learn more about the incident itself. And Richmond County deputies need your help finding a missing man. They say 26-year-old Curtis Tucci was last seen yesterday morning around 6 o'clock. He's about 6 feet tall and wore a blue crop top, navy blue shorts with stripes, and black shoes. Authorities say he's autistic and believe he's headed to Alabama. If you've seen him, call the sheriff's office. The Savannah Riverkeeper took to Facebook this weekend to warn neighbors about the water. Officials say they found high levels of E. coli in certain places, and samples came back from Lake Olmsted, the boat ramp, and the lock and dam, and the sandbar at Riverview Park. They say to use caution near these areas. Wash yourself off as soon as possible. If you get in the water, definitely don't drink that water. South Carolina's Department of Corrections is telling a man from Sandy Springs is lucky to be alive after a tree impaled him this week. Anthony Sotelo just got to go home before the weekend. He and his wife and their son were driving a week ago when a tree fell through his car windshield, went right through his stomach, and he had to go through emergency surgery to get stitches. The surgeons told him his belly fat actually saved most of his organs getting pierced, and Sotelo believes it may have saved him from an even worse outcome.
I'm appreciative of like where it hit me and that it could have been worse, but also super unlucky that it happened to me, period, the end, you know?
He says he's going to be out of work for at least 2 months, but he says he's ready to heal and get back to living life. Tomorrow, a Georgia deputy will be honored after losing his life the day after the 4th of July. Flags in Atlanta and in Crisp County will fly at half staff for Deputy Ty Brown. He died after getting shot during a traffic stop on Wednesday. Earlier today, his friends and family held a visitation at the funeral home before the official service tomorrow. Sheriff's Office wants everyone to know Deputy Brown had a great spirit and always stood for people.
I just want to make sure that people realize that Ty Brown was a hero, and that he gave his life for Crisp County and the people here and those that travel through each and every day. So when you ask me what can you do, let's honor Ty.
The Sheriff's Office asked businesses and other organizations in Crisp County to show their support by displaying the Never Forget message for Deputy Ty Brown. This funeral will be inside the Crisp County Middle School auditorium at 2 o'clock. Coming up, a man is behind bars in connection to a shooting and using a scooter without a license plate to do so. We'll take a look at how officers are handling this case after the break.
Sometimes it takes more than a day to get to the truth.
The I-Team spent weeks combing through the case
to uncover what others want to keep hidden.
Are children suffering because of this?
Yes, they are.
True investigative reporting takes time and resources.
For more than a decade now, we've been asking questions.
The News 12 I-Team, getting results, making a difference.
It actually took a news reporter to get them here.
Thank you for trusting us with your stories. News 12, on your side.
When I need a pair of...
New York prosecutors are charging a 25-year-old man for a shooting that appeared to be random. Astrid Martinez takes a look at how he did so on a scooter through Brooklyn and Queens.
Surveillance video shows the suspect pulling up to unsuspected pedestrians and shooting them in broad daylight.
Video shows that he's not targeting anybody, he's not following anybody. As he's driving on his scooter, he's randomly shooting people.
Police say after the first shooting on Saturday, they shared video of the attacks to the phones of every NYPD officer in what's called a critical message. In less than 30 minutes, the suspect traveled at least 8 miles, shooting people in 6 locations. He killed an 86-year-old man and wounded 3 others.
A firearm was recovered inside the scooter. The 9mm pistol had an extended magazine.
In Los Angeles, a similar crime. Police say a gunman used a rifle to shoot at people from his car in 3 neighborhoods, critically wounding a pedestrian. The gunman was later arrested.
Multiple shots fired.
The latest incidents appear to be a trend in urban shootings. Last week, a masked man opened fire at random in Philadelphia, shooting and killing 5 people with an untraceable gun.
And here in New York, police say the gun used in the scooter shootings doesn't appear to have a serial number. They're working to determine if it's a ghost gun, similar to the one used in the Philadelphia mass shootings. Astrid Martinez, CBS News, New York.
Pennsylvania state officers are still on the lookout for suspect with several charges against him. Local, state, and federal officials are making sure they find 34-year-old Michael Burham. He's the man accused of murder, arson, robbery, and more, and led South Carolina authorities on a 4-day manhunt in May. Pennsylvania officers believe he hasn't left the state. If anything, they're concerned about what he could be doing out of jail.
We do think that it's entirely possible that he has gotten assistance from one or more individuals. Based on his past behavior, he would certainly seek to be armed, so we are treating him as that it is likely he is. In the past, when he was on the run, he was able to arm himself. And again, so he's a dangerous individual.
Authorities are asking people to make sure their cars are locked and their doors. The U.S. Forest Service and Border Patrol are getting involved as well. Heavy rain and wind strikes in parts of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma overnight. One homeowner took this video as the rain came pouring down through some lightning, and even some streets started to flood. Drivers either abandoned their cars or tried to push them out of the water. By this morning, there was murky flood water built up almost everywhere. Thousands of people lost their power since the wind knocked down the power lines like this one. No word yet from officials on how much rainfall they got this weekend. And hundreds of people visited Charleston this weekend to say one more goodbye to a former state politician. Curtis Inabet Sr.'s funeral happened yesterday after he passed away last month at 91 years old. He served within the State House of Representatives for nearly a decade, and before that he served as the first African-American mayor of Wrdw. Many called him a local pioneer, advocate, and an inspiration.
He was a good mentor and leader and a quiet voice in my ear. And even though he walked softly, obviously he threw a lot of big influence in this town and in this state.
His loved ones and peers say his accomplishments to the community will be immeasurable. He was known for his passion for agricultural, social, and racial justice and his commitment to church.
Well, showers and thunderstorms are expected throughout the day tomorrow, but after that, things are looking a lot better for us. I'll have your full 7-day forecast coming up after the break.
If you think big pizza, bigger deal. No hungry? Very hungry.
You're watching NBC 26 on your side.
Accidents can happen at any...
Closed captioning for this newscast brought to you by Hearing Associates of South Carolina.
Taking you to a look of downtown Augusta, it's looking calm right now, and I actually hear we're having a relatively dry week coming up, but not before some rain hits us tomorrow. Emily, Acton, how is it looking for our weekly forecast?
Well, Craig, not too bad. We're off to a little bit of a rough start. Going to see some rain for our Monday. Definitely the Monday blues in store for us, really staying true for this week. But after that, some good news. Things are looking a lot drier and sunnier. I really would pinpoint Tuesday to be one of the best days this week in terms of just plenty of sunshine, pretty pretty reasonable temperatures, but could see an isolated shower or two when we get towards the end of our work week. But overall, things are looking pretty good, excluding Monday. So again, we're inching closer to that Monday mark. A couple of showers off to our west, and then the states of Alabama and Mississippi seeing some heavy rainfall more places northward. Jackson, Mississippi seeing some thunderstorms at the moment, but we are dry here in the river region, and really even the whole state of South Carolina is pretty much dry, excluding a shower just north of Columbia. But that's going to change over the next couple of hours, expecting some rainfall, and that's going to keep us a little bit warmer. Overnight lows really not going to cool down much more than what we are currently seeing, which is those middle 70s. So whenever things are more cloud cover, more humid, definitely going to keep us a little bit warmer for the overnight hours. And we're going to be not that much warmer tomorrow afternoon than what we are seeing tomorrow morning. Again, starting off our day, going to see plenty of rainfall. Temperatures will be in those lower to middle 70s. We'll warm up into those 80s roughly by noon, topping off in those lower 80s, I'm thinking, by the afternoon hours. Again, I know this model behind me is showing those upper 70s. I think we'll get a little bit warmer than that, but nonetheless, plenty of rainfall, so you're really not going to tell the difference between a few degrees, especially if you are running to your car and running back like I will be doing throughout the day tomorrow. But again, for the overnight hours tomorrow, things are looking a lot drier. Start off our Tuesday not looking too bad. Actually going to see the 60s for the overnight lows, but going to see plenty of sunshine for the afternoon for our Tuesday. And things aren't really looking too bad for our Wednesday either, but we have to get through tomorrow. And that's where we can see under a marginal risk for some of our southern counties, and that's really going to be due to flooding. That's really our only risk when it comes to these showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. Could see anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to even 1/2 an inch, and some places locally could see that inch mark. So again, plenty of rainfall to kick off our work week. But after that, like I said, I really want to emphasize that things are looking up for us in terms of rainfall. So if you have any outdoor plans, maybe you want to take the kids out to the park or pool, things are looking a lot better by the end of our week. And the rest of our 7 days not looking too bad. I would definitely pick out Tuesday being one of those best days for us. We're starting off in the 60s, upper 60s for the overnight lows, and then topping off in those lower 90s. But by the time we get to the end of our work week, definitely more seasonable, Craig. Highs in those upper 90s and an isolated shower or two possible in the afternoon.
Alrighty, thanks for the heads up. Keeping the light rain jacket nearby. Well, two very different moves. A local Greenbrier grad becomes a top 10 draft pick in the MLB draft. Sports with the Liz Lions is coming up next. But before we head to a break, here's a live look at Salt Lake City with your winning lotto numbers.
At Denny's, on your sideline. Sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
It is not every day that you get the call or something that you have dreamed about, except for this dream. It is for Chase Dollander. It's his reality. With the 9th pick in this year's MLB draft, the Colorado Rockies selected Dollander. The right-hander is the highest selected bull under head coach Tony Vitello, the 4th highest drafted player in program history. He spent his first collegiate season over at Georgia Southern before transferring to Tennessee. The Greenbrier grad was named the SEC Pitcher of the Year in 2022. With the 24th pick, the Braves selected Hurston Waldrep, a right-hander pitcher out of Florida. Not a shocker, Braves bullpen is one of the strongest in the MLB. Plus, the Braves fast-track pitchers through their farm system, like Spencer Strider. If the name sounds familiar, Waldrep appeared in the College World Series, striking out 37 over the course of the tournament. Braves over in Rays territory over the last 2 games in the 3-game series. The Braves have only given up 2 runs. 2 of them, they gave up 5 times that this afternoon. Yes, that is 10. It wasn't all bad. With Travis d'Arnaud's homer, the Braves have now homered in 26 consecutive games, the longest streak in the modern era. But it was bad for All-Star Bryce Elder. He allowed 7 runs, 6 hits, 4 walks in 3.5 innings, his shortest of the season. Well, at least they get a break for a minute. It just didn't go well at the closer to home either. The Pelicans had 10 hits compared to the Jackets' 4. Their only score came in the bottom of the third with a homer to center. The 48th annual Palmetto Amateur has now come to a close. Ford Goldisich out of Alabama led the field by 1 stroke heading into the final day of play. He birdied twice on the front 9 and replaced it with 2 bogeys on the back, but insurance kept him ahead with 1 shot to go. He just misses the birdie on 18 and settles for par. It's good enough for the Palmetto Cup. Goldisich finishes at 16 under, 4 strokes ahead of the field.
16 was, I mean, if I would have made the putt, I would have felt a lot better, but I was telling Jack, my caddy, my brother, on the walk up to 18 green, like, dude, I'd rather be tied or one shot ahead. Having a lead is very nerve-wracking, more than being head-to-head with somebody.
Aikens, Brian Quackenbush finished in 7th, posting a 3-under day. Off the tee shot on 18, Quackenbush put it in the rough on the right side and ended up putting his shot within just a few feet of the hole. He ended up parring, but it didn't look like it would happen to those watching on the outside.
I got down there. Joe Ulrich, who's one of the rules guys out there, I know him real well for a long time. I'm walking up there. He's like, "We found it, but I don't think you're gonna like it." And I got down there, and it's sitting up on a tuft of grass in there, pretty good. And I've got like a little chute up there. I could hit it right through. It's perfect.
He ended the tournament at 8 under. Next up, he heads to the Carolinas Amateur Championship.
But we didn't measure any rainfall today in Augusta or Aiken, but things are going to be changing for our Monday. Now we're going to take a look at Neil and Sean over in Studio B.
Thank you, Emily, so much. Sean, tonight we're going to look at Carr and Clareton Clear.
Well, let's just into our newsroom. Richmond County deputies say they found this man we showed you earlier. Curtis Tucci went missing yesterday morning. Deputies say he's been found and is safe. Just want to close it off with some good news before we toss it over to weather. Emily?
Well, some kind of good news. Maybe some people want the rain tomorrow. So if you do, then good news for you. And for us other folks, things are going to look better throughout the middle and end of our work week, really even our weekend. Not looking too bad. A couple isolated showers possible, and we'll warm up into those upper 90s, but really not a bad 7-day, Craig. And just taking a quick glance at it, I think we're going to have a pretty good week.
Alrighty, keep a light rain jacket though, you say Monday, because high temps and all that?
Oh, definitely going to have a rain jacket throughout the day Monday. Again, it's going to be heavy at times, but overall, going to see some widespread rainfall.
Alrighty, thanks for that, Emily. Well, thank you for joining us here on News 12 at 11 p.m. I'm Craig Allison, but be sure to stick around for our guys at Lock Hall coming up right after this.